Welcome to the January 2nd public hearing regarding the June 9th ballot articles. We will start with going over, there are only two articles we are reviewing that are on the ballot that we need to discuss. Article 2, to see if the town will vote to accept as a public way, Emma's Way, a private road located off of Enterprise Road, and to authorize the town to assume responsibility for maintenance, repair, and snow removal of said road upon acceptance by the Select Board and/or the road commissioner. Any questions on this one?
Where is Emma's Way?
Emma's Way is near, it's down towards Dole's off of Enterprise.
Field is down on Enterprise. It's just all those new houses.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's, and Stan, if I'm correct, the road, the paving, everything is done. It's all complete.
And I had, my voice doesn't carry, I told her. So the road was built to specs under the supervision of the road commissioner and myself. I do have all the records of all the gravel base that was put in, all of the sub base, and then the top layer of asphalt. Through the winter, we did have one question that was addressed. Now the road is draining properly. We did testify, and the road commissioner went this past weekend to make sure that the water was draining to the ditch like it was supposed to, and it is. So it has complied to road standards. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Article 3. Wade, do you want to read Article 3? It's a little itty bitty print.
Shall the town vote to change the position of treasurer from elected position to an appointed position to be effective upon the expiration of the current terms of the vacancy, should that occur prior to the end of the current elected term as provided in Title 30, A, Section 2525 of the Maine Revised Statute? And so there's a note, it says the tax collector and town clerk positions have been changed from elected to appointed positions after the December 10th, 2025 special town meeting. This article, if passed, would make the treasurer's position also appointed instead of elected with those two positions.
Any questions on that one? Cheryl?
It's hard to read with the sample.
You know, when they did that for the town clerk and the tax collector, they prepared ahead of time for training and this and all, everything. That's not in there. What's going to happen?
We will have to account for that.
How?
We are going, well, the idea, the town clerk and tax collector did not have a deputy at the time. The treasurer already has a deputy budgeted for. So what will happen is we are going to need to get a deputy in there that's in there enough time, utilizing the budget to get trained to do that position.
Will you hire it, or we have to vote one in?
It would,
The deputy.
that would be hired by Julie.
Oh, okay. So she would have to do, okay.
Yes.
And why was the note put in there for tax, why? I mean, everybody knew what they voted in for the tax collector and the town clerk. Why would that be in vote?
Because that was done at a special town meeting,
That's
not
okay.
on a ballot.
No.
This, and
Yeah.
we
And
tend
this
to
is a
have.
special town meeting that we're going to be voting this on.
No, it's at the primary, so it's by ballot. The town clerk was not by, and tax collector change was at a special.
So those other ones that are on the website about the fire department and a couple of other, that's the special town meeting?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions on that? Stan?
I just want to clarify for the voters and the taxpayers, every municipality here is having the same problem with elected officials. Originally, elected officials with treasurer, tax collector, and the town clerk, those were lifelong jobs. As they retire, it poses municipalities with the problem of the training issue and people being knowledgeable. And what happens is they get hired and then they get their experience and then they'll go to a larger town. So by having an appointed or hired position, it allows the town the flexibility without waiting for a special election or a town meeting in order to do so. But it is now the new wave of the way things are going because the towns are growing so fast and people in our generation are no longer lifers, as you would say. They take the jobs, they're temporary, take it or leave it, and then they move on. They don't have the same dedication that Dee Dee, Judy, even Julie. So it's not a targeted thing, it's just, it is a necessity. Leamington just did that as well because they're getting ready to retire. So it allows you to hire somebody to train without going through all of that. They still have the same protections as an elected official. You cannot just fire somebody. So there is a process. I didn't mean to interrupt, but I wanted to explain
No, I
so
appreciate that.
people understand why we're moving that way. So,
Yep. Gail?
So I want to talk about what he was alluding to, that they still have protections. So a treasurer would, if this passes, would be under the supervision of the select board,
Correct.
but that person has safeguards if she disagrees with the select board. Is that true? So you can't just say, leave, go.
Correct. There's still a process, there's still due process if there's issues.
It's not due process. It's the select board coming down on somebody saying, you're going to do this, I'm in charge. Okay? Right now, there's state rules, I believe, for a treasurer, for a town clerk, for a tax collector. So the select board has to respect those rules, even if they are the supervisor
Correct,
of this.
just like
So
the
they
town
can't just
clerk and
fire
tax
them
collector.
on a whim.
Correct.
right.
Okay, all right, thank you.
I am the same case except for I'm a hired position. I'm certified by the state and many other departments in the federal government. I answer to the select board, I answer to the people. I have the certification, so the board and I and other people don't always agree, and that is a good thing because the difference helps us do the right thing or stay in the same track. But the certifications is what protects them. They're certified by the state, so the board can't just say, well, you're not doing that job. You have to prove beyond the preponderance of the doubt that that individual is not doing their job. So, and again, it isn't Julie, if she goes her term, decides to want to be hired, that is up to the board. The board may hire her, so it's not in an effort to get rid of an individual. It's, again, to expand the abilities of the municipality to function.
Right.
So,
Correct.
But
It just turns it into a hired position versus
yeah.
elected.
So you do have your due process, but you also have your certifications that protect you. So,
Anyone else? All right. Well, those are both of the articles that are on the ballot. I would look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
second.
All in favor? All right, we will be back here at 7 o'clock for the select board meeting.
concerns about that water line.
Good evening and welcome to the June 2nd Select Board meeting. Stand for the flag salute. All right. I would look for a motion to approve the May 26th meeting minutes.
So moved.
Second.
All approved? All right. And I would look for a motion to approve this week's accounts payable warrants.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? And we do have the payroll warrants, but I have some questions on it that I want to get answered before we vote to approve those. Wade, can you read the announcements?
The Select Board will meet on Wednesday, June 10th at 7 p.m. The Planning Board will meet on Wednesday, June 3rd at 7 p.m. And the Budget Committee will meet on Thursday, June 4th at 6 p.m. And the Select Board Admin's office will be closed on Thursday, June 4th from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. And as part of the hearing of citizens policy, no personal attacks on any individual or firm, including town employees, town officials, and members of the public, will be tolerated during any meetings. Please direct concerns about individual employees or town officials to the chairman of the Board of Select Persons outside the public meeting. For your convenience, complaint forms are readily available on the sign-in table. Please stay current with town information by visiting www.limerickme.org.
Thank you. And department reports, Stan? Huh?
Can I go for 2 hours? Stan Hackett, Code Enforcement. First, I wanted to give my department report for year-to-date. In 2026, building permits of $47,846. Business license is $3,250. That was because somebody a month ago came into town, bought the business, and had to apply for the license, so it's prorated. Next month, all of the licenses are due, and that's going to be about $20,000 worth of licenses. Less the plumbing state fees is $1,478.75. Less the plumbing surcharge is $225, making it a total deduction of $1,703.75. Total collected year-to-date is $49,392.25. Permits to date, 53. Single-family homes is 12. Duplexes is 1. We just had somebody come in yesterday and inquire about putting in some more duplexes off of Foss Road, so we'll be getting some of those. And the difference year-to-date from 2025 to today, the same time frame is last year we did $58,805.77. So the difference is $9,413.52. The difference between last year on total permits is 24. Last year, at this time, we did 77. We had 3 subdivisions. And single-family homes last year was 24, and this year's 12. And we didn't have any duplexes. So we're a little behind, but it looks like things are going to be catching up quickly. Prokey subdivision or properties was sold. I don't know if I had mentioned that before, but Prokey actually sold it. I think I mentioned it in an email. The new buyers have a purchase and sale agreement where it's bought over a certain amount of time. They're going to, and they have agreed, and they're going to meet with the road commissioner first to bring all of the roads up to road standard prior to winter so that they may be plowed. Right now, that was part that Prokey, they reneged on it and left Bob Richardson high and dry finishing the project. So first things are from Norton Road to Emery Corner Road will be brought up to road standards in at least one layer of pavement. And then Prokey Drive itself will be brought up to road standards in finishing the pavement where he stopped, so before any permits are issued. They do have 5 homes, or 5 properties still that haven't been developed, that were approved in the prior development planning board process. They can continue those, or they may start doing them, but before occupancies are given, they have to supply the roads up to road standards that meet the road commissioner's agreements. We do own Coffin Hill Road and Norton Road and Staples Hill Road, which I don't even know if it's still passable yet, but it was pretty bad at one point. So all of those will be brought up to their passable with one layer of pavement, or the base pavement. The CDC public meeting, I know you guys voted on the 23rd, and in an email, I probably didn't make it clear, but I recommended the 30th because there were 2 people that had the affected properties. One of them still had some information they wanted to provide to the DEP and CDC, and the other one had a scheduling conflict and was able to make the 30th easier. So I would like the board to reconsider the 23rd and make it the 30th. I did commit to CDC and the DEP that we will stick to the 1-hour mark because we have a business meeting to follow. So I will try to stick to that. But if the board would reconsider to the 30th, it would be helpful.
I don't have a problem with the 30th.
That's fine.
Yeah,
Courtney, we don't have anything else scheduled at 6? Okay, so let's move the CDC to 6 o'clock on the 30th.
Okay, everybody, you did decide on the 30th?
Yes.
Okay, so didn't mean to jump the gun. Everybody knows, and if they didn't know, we did find a homeless person in the building yesterday morning. They were smoking cannabis. It was very well noted, but the individual was on something else and he became hostile. He took off before the state police arrived. They caught him down by FR Carroll Materials. He's from Texas. So they gave him a no trespass order, and in the interim, I asked Isaac to put a padlock on the exterior of the door to keep it from doing that. But we do need to consider, because of fire safety codes, to get the door so that it can lock and it's passable from the inside. Right now, it is not. So if somebody entered and was not able to exit through that door,
It becomes an egress
we
issue.
do have windows, but it would be just more accommodating, obviously, to have that door fixed.
Okay.
So, and I know Howard's not here, but that's something probably to get Howard involved with as well.
Yeah. Okay.
The DEP, we also have a violation on Pickerel Pond where they replaced the sluiceway, which was a wooden sluiceway. Same idea as what we have at Secocas Dam, which has been problematic. And it becomes dangerous to lift the boards out. So they got DEP approval to put in a metal sluiceway. And it's got greased wheels or sealed wheels so that it actually goes up and down and seals properly. Well, they've added 2 more slots to it, which raise the ponds in some areas 6 feet, in some areas in 10 feet. So if you hear about floating docks and people complaining about their basements flooded, that is very true, and DEP is on it and working on it. They are slightly behind, but they have already been in touch with Pickerel Pond Lake Association, who is the body that is accountable. It isn't the town. That is why the town has stayed out of managing the water. So we cannot raise the water higher than the normal water level because it causes problems. If they inadvertently let all that water go quickly, it would blow the dam down beyond Lake Arrowhead, which is another problem. So we need to continue to communicate with Lake Arrowhead if we lower the water in a rapid session. so, which the Cocos Lake knows, and now Pickle Pond does aware of that. Then the other thing is, we have made, and I also wanted to talk to, as far as the CDC meeting, I was contacted by Senator King's office at this time. They have provided me with 12 other opportunities for grants to help the town gain monies for technical and financial's ability to extend the water district. So they have another group that Agnes King is going to introduce to us, and I believe it's going to be probably the end of August, maybe the beginning of September, that will be willing to provide some of the technical assistance to the water and sewer district free of charge. So we're continuing to work on this, but it's a more longer term than filtration systems, and if the contamination becomes more prominent in other areas that we're not aware of, then we'll be ready to move forward, and it's a plus for the town. It brings more financial income to the water and the sewer districts as well. It will be a huge benefit to the business park because it will, the water line will go all the way up the remaining part of Central, beyond Central to Levitt Brook, and then down Dole's Ridge Road to Enterprise, where there's water already provided by Lake Arrowhead. It's not the town, but the business park will have town water. So that's the goal, and trying to do it without spending any monies for the taxpayers. So,
Thank you. That's a good thing.
so then we go to another mistake that I wasn't here when it was done because it wasn't on the schedule, and it was just an overlap between personnel. Sean Gerard, CIA Salvage, applied for a recycling license. He needed to have a public hearing for the proper process because there were several complaints, which the board is aware of. Sean is aware of these as well. I provide them to him via email as well. The other issue is the boards, whether it's the planning board or the select board, cannot issue any permits or conditional use permits or any licensing if they don't have the proper information to assure that the law is being followed. And that is under 30A, 3451 to 30A, 3458. And I'm not going to go through all of those, and when Howard gets back, we will determine. But we do need to reschedule a public hearing for that. He does have currently a recycling license because it is signed, but in order to revoke it, there has to be another public hearing, and that is called the due process, where he is able to defend or stop. But I think at this, you can do both, because officially, he shouldn't have that recycling license until he provides annually by statute the town with certain information, which includes an updated plot plan if there's any changes made. DEP, the town's always been under the impression that DEP regulated all this. DEP does not. And what DEP does is the town approves and gives a license or a conditional use or a permit, in my case. Then DEP says, well, the town says he's in compliance with all of the laws, regulations, whether they're government, state, or local, then we can issue that DEP permit. So he has been able to accomplish certain permitting from DEP by that philosophy, which is wrong. And he is aware of this. I spoke to him several times, and I will be speaking to him again. So we're prepared for the planning board. But he needs to provide this information to the boards. Because when we accept this, we're saying that being in compliance, we're taking the liabilities of any contamination, if there's any, and it becomes the town's liability and responsibility. So he has made great efforts. His housekeeping is atrocious. I tell him that every day that I see it. And he needs to do some certain compliance annually at the minimum, but upon request. So that will ensure and give more confidence to people in town and to the boards issuing these licenses that he's at least trying to comply. And I don't mean we're going to bring down the hammer. Nobody wants to do that, and he knows that. But he also knows and has admitted that he knows law. So these are things that he really needs to keep up with. And when we do have the public hearing, I will be here to guide the process to stay within the law, because you do need that information. The people have a right to know, and that's it. We did have another complaint over the holiday weekend. I did issue him 2 violations on those complaints. Well, one was on the complaint, one was a violation of his permit. He came in and we discussed it in length, and I won't go into details, but he knows he was wrong and it's not allowable. He also knows the gate has to be closed on Sunday, even if he's in the yard. That means to the public and presumption that when I drive by, the gate's closed, he's closed, even though he might be in there. But if it's open, people would have the assumption that he's open. And we went back and forth with that, but it's again, it's Sean. So, but he understands the gate's got to be closed.
Okay.
Okay? So we will bring that up next week to, if Howard's here, to make a date for a public hearing for that.
Okay,
Okay?
sounds good.
Is there anything else I'm missing?
Did you have a question, Steve, for Stan?
Yeah, Steve McLean, Stan, you're talking about Prokey and all that, so they're gonna bring the roads up to town standards, pave it. So the selectmen, probably in November, gonna have to put it on the ballot to accept those roads so we can plow them, because we'd have to accept them
When
first.
it comes to that point, yeah.
Okay, but it's something we probably ought to do in November if they wanna plow this winter.
Well, we won't be plowing it, but for the convenience of the town and for safety purposes, we've waited 20 years now
Oh, yeah, yeah.
to get certain things done, and I don't want another rear drive. And I don't think the road commissioner does. The town's already been burnt by this one too. So this is one of the things they've agreed to, and we're gonna hold them to it.
Okay, but what I'm saying, if we're gonna plow it, we've gotta add that onto the contract for mileage.
That's correct.
That's what I'm saying,
The
so-
intention is we're not gonna extend any of the plowing at this time, although we
Okay.
do have another house going in on Coffin Hill Road, but it is on, or just beyond the paved section off an Emery Corner Road.
Okay.
The town is not. That is the other thing, when development comes to town, the town is not responsible to bring these roads up to standards. It is up to the developer or the individual extending the road in order for us to plow. We have that on Nason Road. The gentleman is going to bring that section up when he starts. Same thing on Coffin Hill Road. It is up to those individuals to bring them up to road standards. It's not the burden of the taxpayers. On the same token, along these lines, if a contractor or somebody comes in and damages a town road, it is in our ordinance that the road commissioner, the select board, or myself, with the permission of the select board, can charge them to repair the damages. So the town shouldn't be carrying any of the burdens. We did have that happen on Lombard Hill Road last year when a mobile home came in. It was just regraded and everything, and then they dug it up. So the other individual responsible, not the town. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, I'm saying we gotta be prepared to either
Yes.
add more
Yep.
mileage to it,
Yep,
all right? And before the next contract.
right, absolutely. And that goes along with, I do keep the board in communication with these expansions because they have a wider impact than just my office. So,
So are we going to need to add that mileage for this coming season?
well, none of the permits have been pulled, so
Okay.
I can't tell you that. I do know there's one person he is going to add on, but that he's going to have to bring another hammerhead down just beyond that point if that's the case. But I'm hoping that the new buyers of Prokey subdivision will just go and do the rest of that road on Coffin Hill Road. That way, it would be as simple as adding another mile or a mile and a half of road to plowing versus we only plow to this point and we leave a middle. okay? So it would be, but I don't have that information to tell you that, so. The other one thing I wanted to bring up, because this has happened over and over and over again, Facebook. I hate Facebook. I don't have any problems with anybody questioning my abilities or if I've seen something or not. Lake Arrowhead is very good at keeping me in tune to what's going on out there. But when it gets Facebook and then inadvertently somebody makes a comment, it always ends up being that person's fault versus that. If they have a question, ask me. Ask the board, all right? Sometimes I'm not prepared mentally to take the question. It hits me the wrong way. I don't get rude, but my answer may be abrupt, okay? It's not you. It's whatever's going on. But we need to communicate. Don't do it via Facebook. I know who is and who isn't, and it isn't the board, and I don't want the board to be blamed for it or dragged into the muck. Been there, done it. It's just crap. Okay, so I did want to clear the air with that. And after that, I'm done. I didn't quite take up all my time, but I'm sure you'll find
Still
it
had a
is.
minute and a half to go.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Stan.
Audrey?
Audrey Walsh, Limerick Rec Director. First of all, there's $100 more that need to go into the bottle drive to make 420, and then there's also the account set up at JD's. I don't know how much is in there at this time, but we'll check. Fifth grade fire station. I have the fire station allotted for this Friday for them to use it for a dance for the fifth graders. They're asking permission for Limerick Rec to up to $70 to donate for pizzas, if I can get permission for that to help out. Newfield Rec is also supposed to help, and that would only leave us, so we only have to pay $35, but I'm gonna try to cover it all if they cannot cover it.
You could probably use that out of your donations.
Okay? So I would just go to.
And with the amount,
She doesn't need board approval for the donations account to use towards Park and Rec.
Well, she probably still have to fill out a
Purchase order.
purchase
Yeah,
order.
Right.
PO.
so yeah, just fill out a purchase order for Julie.
Okay.
And then be sure to note the donation account numbers on it for her.
And that'll also help you in another year. You can look back on that and say, this is what, you know.
Okay. I just wanted to ask first before I said the okay.
Thank you.
I have a few dates that it's nor here nor there, but it is going to be down at the field, so I have not planned any events yet. One's going to be, well, the 10th is already also recognition night. I'm lending speakers, projector for them to do that. The 12th is also, I've talked to Courtney to get permission, and the 20th, so two different families can use for end-of-year ball field, and the fifth graders graduating from line school. I was also asking for acceptance from you all for like a summer sizzle, maybe a barbecue down at the ballpark. I don't have a set date, but I just wanted permission to be able to do that ahead of time, like a cook-off or a barbecue style, and possibly games. And then also I had ideas to possibly keep adding to the donation fund to maybe get a Blackstone original outdoor griddle to be able to raffle off in Limerick, if we can do that as well, but asking your permission first.
I don't see why not.
No problem here.
And then I'll ask other local businesses for any donations to help raise money also for the Parks and Rec, but I'll run it by everybody before I plan anything down there for dates and.
Sounds like you have some good ideas.
Thank you. And I think that's it for me.
Thank you.
Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Hearing of citizens?
Joanne?
I'll go under that because I was bad and I didn't get put on the agenda. You've got in your packets the 2025 solid waste
Yep.
report. that I have sent to the DEP. It's a 13-page annual report with all the information that they're asking for. And in there's also photographs, because I had to have Steve dig 2 test pits. They were questioning us not being able to store the metal and the brush without a paved pad. And I argued with them and told them that our license has allowed it since 2004, and that we do monitor the depth. And they said, if you can confirm that you're monitoring the depth of the gravel, then we won't make you pave it, which is huge. That to pave that area would be huge. So Steve dug some holes. I sent pictures along with the annual report and made the changes to our plan, which is required. So that's done. About 3 years ago, somebody brought in a 20-foot flagpole. It was the whole kit, the base, everything, including even the flag. So through the donations account, we put the flag in to celebrate America's 250th. So we have a nice flagpole and a flag up there, and I donated the light, the solar light that's on the flagpole. So if you go by at night, you should be able to see the flag at night, and it looks nice.
Good. Well, thank you.
That's it.
Thank you very much. Kathy?
I'll keep it short, I promise. I heard that, Steve. First of all, I want to know, I'm hoping one of you know, the Welcome to Limerick sign on Route 5 headed towards Cornish is gone. It's been gone for quite some time. I wonder, is it out for repair? Did somebody take it?
Ricky? Yes. You're our signs man.
I have no idea where.
No, I didn't think that you knew, that's why I'm asking now. I would have asked you earlier. You don't know. It needs to be replaced then, because maybe nobody but me notices it, but it's bothering the heck out of me. Well, I'm irritated by it. Also, last year, I mentioned this and nothing came of it, but the intersection of Main Street and Washington Street, just behind the little pot shop there, is that section of lawn, I don't know what it is.
Little island
But it's
there.
only about 2 feet wide anyway, the section I'm talking about. It looks like crap. I don't know if the town owns it or not, but I do know the town has taken care of it in the past. And it's full of weeds, it's full of trash that's gathered, you know, like McDonald's cups and...
It needs to get cleaned up.
It really does. It really looks bad. Let's see, what else did I want to complain about? Oh, there's a house on Emery Corner Road that is becoming about as bad as one that you've been dealing with in Lake Arrowhead.
On 3 Division?
We don't have the rats yet, but it's pretty darn close to my house. So I really don't want to get to that point.
All right.
I think you guys know which house I'm talking about. You may not, but they do. Let's see, what else did I want? Pickleball court. Why can't we buy pickleball paint from place like Lowe's or Home Depot or something and get that on there?
Honestly, right now, because we don't have a contingency fund.
Well, I've been hearing things about a professional pickleball court, and we don't need that.
No, and I don't disagree. Right now, a lot of the getting the pricing is so that we can get it on the budget for next year.
to put it out to the voters.
Okay,
to
because I
do
happen to
this.
know that Home Depot carries pickleball paint. It's very expensive, but I still think it would be a lot cheaper if we just paint the darn thing.
Yep, well, that was one thing that Howard had brought up at one of the meetings, was just the paint from Home Depot for it, and then getting a template.
Even at that, a 5-gallon bucket is about $250.
Yep.
But then again, paint is expensive now anyway.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Okay, one more thing and then I'll leave you alone. This is also at the ball field.
Okay.
The pavilion.
Yes.
I've heard rumors that we're talking 12 by 20.
Yes.
12 feet wide is not wide enough if you're going to have a band.
The original makeup for it was supposed to be able to put 3 or 4 picnic tables in there. That size would allow for that.
Well, I don't know what that size was, but my deck is 12 feet wide, and you could not set up a drummer behind guitarists and things like that. It just would not fit.
Sure.
Just wanted to say it. Now I'm finished.
I appreciate you bringing that up, because now that I think about it, I'm looking at my deck going, okay, that's 8, I want another 8, and even that, so it's almost like it,
I saved everything up for one meeting.
clearly. I mean, we'll have to look at the bids when they come back.
There's 2 different things that we were going for. We were going for where they could put picnic tables and go and have a picnic and watch the kids play and everything.
Right, and
then-
having
and,
a
well,
band go in.
Well, that came after the fact
Yeah.
Good.
for the bands and everything, and I'd probably need a bigger thing for a band, but originally what it was designed for was a picnic area for the people down there when the kids are playing or whatever.
That was, the original intent was 4 picnic tables under a shaded roof, perhaps, you know, if it come off a shower. The original intent was never factored in a band. It was never, wasn't even,
But the last few meetings, there's been discussions of concerts.
yes.
That's
come on.
because it was brought up this
And
spring.
12 feet is not wide enough for that.
No, no, it's not.
No. Cheryl?
I'll wait till the end, but she opened the door, so,
Uh-oh, it's my fault.
the pickleball, okay? That was jumped into, we're talking about taxes and this and that, but everything's approved without, and I can include the fire department in on that with all the lawyers' bills that we're gonna have now, because something was jumped into without investigating, and then everything kind of snowballed. But the pickleball, that should have been all of the paint, the nets, the fence, I don't know what consists of it, because that was the first time I ever heard of it when they passed that at the meeting immediately, blah, 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 okay? That, it should have all been the pavilion. That was shoved aside. The pavilion was voted on by the people, as Wade said, for whatever dimension it was, you said, in picnic table, blah, blah. That's what we voted on. We didn't vote for a concert. If they want to have concerts, then put a wooden deck down or so, or whatever, you know. But the pavilion, that shouldn't be held up just because, you know, that's what we voted on. We didn't vote on a pickleball, you know, whatever. It's just that everybody's jumping into something without thinking of it. Then again, the lawyers' bills. We've got, I don't know how many now that this mess has done because a decision was made without an investigation, just like everything in this town. Everybody doesn't like this, so they jump onto that, and we end up, the taxpayers end up paying for it. Okay? My next is at the end of the meeting.
Anyone else? Wendy?
Good evening. As you know, I've been working with the treasurer to work on some accounts, and I've focused on the capital and special revenue accounts specifically. And so during this review, I found that some of the 2024 audited ended balances did not carry forward correctly into the 2025 records, even after the beginning balance adjustments were applied. My summation on that, this is a good possibility when the new treasurer came in, there were warrant articles that were voted on that may have not been caught by the auditor or by the treasurer herself. It's just an oversight. So a closer look at 2024 and 2025 warrant articles for the capital projects, special revenues, and several other accounts will be needed to make sure everything is recorded the way the vote is intended, and that's the capital projects and special revenues that were set up during that time. To help with this work, I created a spreadsheet that compares the audit numbers to the town's records and shows how the balance has changed from 2024 through 2026. On that spreadsheet that I did, 2026 beginning balance ends up being what? The beginning balance of 2025 plus the any net activity to 2025, and that's how it should flow properly. Every number I have here, I have taken from the treasurer's general ledger work, so everything is coming out that way. Because what my goal was to show or find where the errors are. So, so that made it easier to see where the numbers match and where they didn't. It also helped clarify the types of differences we are dealing with, whether they are clerical issues such as data entry, posting mistakes, procedural issues, differences in how transactions were recorded or categorized. And I believe that some of it may be categorization. It could be just a code of what has happened. Or larger structural issues where the numbers do not follow the expected pattern from year to year. It also showed that we need additional source documents to confirm how certain entries were made and to understand where the differences came from. The treasurer has created her own spreadsheet using accounts I identified as needing immediate review, and the numbers align with the comparison work I had prepared. So she took the account numbers that I found to have issues, and she had created her own spreadsheet and came, because she wanted to focus in on those particular items. Because this is probably 50-50 that things are good. It's mostly the capital projects. The revenue accounts seem to have flowed forward okay. They didn't have any activity either. These observations are based on my review of available records and not a formal audit conclusion. I was not doing a formal audit. I want to make that clear. Anybody can do a forensic audit, because what a forensic audit is, it can be classified two ways. You get ordered to do one to find that someone is embezzling or stealing funds, or you do one for situations like this. You follow the money, what's going on with it. And so at this point, the next steps require system access and decision-making authority that rests with the treasurer and the select board. And so for that reason, it is best for me to step back so the process can continue with those who are responsible for making those corrections. I feel that's the best thing to do. Julie, I believe, I'll give her my final updated sheets in case there were any accounts missed that she wants to look at. And I want to thank everyone for the opportunity to serve the town once again. And does anyone have any questions? No.
Thank you for your help.
Yep.
We
Appreciate it.
We really thank you, and a tremendous help.
Yep, thank you. So I was asked about the donations account for the fire department. I went back to 1996, and I do see an initial deposit into the rescue, and it went to, donations apparently at that time went directly into the rescue billing account, and they could be used for whatever you want. The account that has approximately $28,000 in it is that account that funds can be taken out of. And I do not see anywhere instructions of what to do with that money. And based on that deposit into that account, or that entry into that account back then, that you can probably use it to do what the fire department needs to do at this point without taking it out of the actual rescue billing. Again, like I said, I could not find any wordage about that. And the other fire department account, that's the fire building account, and that was specifically for the building. It's the new building. I don't know what they wanted it for, but that's what it is.
Can you at some point show me exactly where that is on?
The donation account?
You and I are gonna sit down anyway, so.
The donation account?
Yeah.
Where it is on the sheet?
Yeah, where she's got it buried.
That's account number 4-52400.
4
Fire department donations.
Yeah.
And based on this is an account that didn't have much action.
What was the number?
Account number is 4-52400. And the balance as of 2026, May 2026, is $28,299.58.
Okay, I'll be able to find it.
Yep, it's right there.
So I have a question on that. So with that, do we still have to have the special town meeting to vote on it as the town? Or can the board approve that? That's the question that we've been trying to answer.
Okay,
so we need that answered.
If you look in your town report, under the housekeeping articles, it states that the select board can spend the donations that are received in. You want to read it again, and I don't know the exact words to it, but donations like that can be, without having...
Article 11, it's under I.
It's under I.
Letter I.
Does that supersede an article where donations that we have a $5,000 number before?
That's that's the rescue billing account. The rescue billing requires, that was set back in 2010, I believe it's Article 38, where it states that, it states that anything over $5,000 has to go before the people to be voted on. No. Well, they had donations going into rescue billing at one time, and that may state that for back then. But the donations that we have now, that's a separate, that donation account is a totally separate account.
With no legislation rules against it?
No, I couldn't find anything. I went back to 1996, and I think that's far enough to go back.
Do we want to make a decision on that to allow Jared to?
You can share the wealth and share it with all the other departments.
It's fire department account.
Parks and Rec need a pavilion. I'm on the fire department too, so I should have say on both.
If we're allowed to and it's there, we should do that and not have to go to a special
Right.
town meeting.
To allow them to move forward.
Yes,
Isn't it their decision? Isn't it the fire department's decision whether to do that or not?
Well, he
But Jared was looking for the board's approval to do that versus go to a town vote.
Maybe it should be the warrant article first.
Yeah.
You can do it right now, it's in the book. But donations fall under the
We're just gonna let you look for it, Wade.
Thanks.
All eyes are on you.
Huh?
All eyes are on you.
Oh, just
It's like one of those.
keep going, I'll find it. Keep going, I'll find it.
Wait, it's item I.
Item I.
It's the one that has like 8 different.
Nope.
I would think that that donation account was governed by the firemen.
So when I was going through, I found in 2018, I believe it's the auxiliary had a donations account, which they donated directly to the fire department, and it was approximately $10,989, something like that. And that had no specific purpose to it, that they just donated it. I believe the select board at the time had to accept it. And I think you'll find that most of the donations that are given to the town by people are that they use the ambulance, the ambulance came, or fire department, and they wanted to thank the volunteers at that time, or even now, the employees for their quick service. And I found, as going forward, there were other donations around $2,600, $100, just people wanting to give.
Thank you.
But in your research, you found that back in '96, that there was money donated to the rescue account.
Right. Back in
Which is now
1996,
into the donations account.
back in 1996, they did things a little differently. So you would go through and you could see all the expenses and the revenues coming in, and you'll see in the rescue billing account, it says donation.
Right.
And to go there, and they spent it as it came in. It wasn't applied to anything special.
Right.
Are you saying that the housekeeping article covers all donations in any department, and the select board can override any department's decision? Is that what you're saying?
No, she's saying the department, like the fire department, those donations are determined by the fire department.
I'm asking about the housekeeping article.
When it comes to expenditures of funds in the town, it's not direct. The department head should come to the select board and say they're going to be spending this money. They're asking to get, if they have an issue with it, because they want to make sure, you want to make sure that the money is being spent on something that is needed, and not just a frivolous thing that somebody may want. So because you're responsible for the finances of this town, you have the treasurer who keeps that, and she's responsible also, and you are ultimately responsible for the finances of the town. And anything, I know we have a purchase order policy or something, I can't remember what the amounts are, but you really want to pay attention to that, what's being spent on what, and not just allow anybody to spend with it. Because what he's asking for is $20,000, and it has nothing to do with the person.
Up to $20,000
Yeah.
for all of it.
You want to know what's going on and why he needs it, and he reported it to you what he needs to have.
Do we want to, are you still looking for it?
I'm still looking for it.
Do we want to look into that this week and?
Yep, like tomorrow.
Okay. All right.
That was the-
Yes. Joanne.
That's what I do with the bottle account, our donations account for the bottles. And I just told you tonight that we put the flagpole in, and I donated the light, and it's coming out of the bottle account. Anything to do with it. So
But
that's,
did you ask for permission before you spent the money?
we haven't spent the money, it was donated.
That's what I'm saying. Did you put the flagpole up and spend any of the donation money before you talked to the select board?
No,
No, okay, so it just seems that the department that the donations are in.
Right, which
they-
Jared's already,
They work at that and bring a recommendation here. You just don't have say over it without their,
right, and Jared's come to us with,
but Jared came here
Right, he's
and
already
asked
come
if they
in.
could use up to 20,000 of it.
yep,
And he outlined every piece of equipment that was needed by law of this new mandate from the federal government. We know what the equipment needed is going to cost, and Jared provided us with the amount of money to cover that,
together with all the licensing
and the training and licensing. So I feel that Jared provided us all the information that would be required of anyone as a department head.
I agree, I'm just saying, I was thinking that this supersede, and you can spend those monies without departmental,
Oversight?
not oversight, but contributing input to the decision before you make it.
Now I forgot what I was going to say. Yeah.
Wendy, what were you gonna say?
Even though it's money, no matter how you look at it, it's still money that belongs to the townspeople. And even though it's a department's donations money, revenue coming in, I think that you should still have the request so that because they're going to need a purchase order.
Yep.
And you're going to have the treasurer turn around and say, what authorized you to do this, even though we have that. But I just, myself personally feel that everything that comes through that's monetary to go before the select board regardless. He needs it. We know he needs it.
Yep.
And it does, in my mind, it doesn't matter if it comes from rescue billing or from the donation account.
I think it would be more prudent to go ahead and do it out of the donation account so that he can meet the state guidelines to not disrupt services
Yes,
to the community.
because there is a window of time that
A deadline.
What was his deadline?
He had 60 days from the day he received the notice. So he's down to about 40 days now to when he has to have everything in place, done.
And inspected.
So do we want to vote to allow Jared to do that, provided there's some, we're seeing purchase orders and seeing where the funds are going?
So I would make a motion to allow Jared to use that donated money, but using a purchase order for the training and the materials that are bought. To allow Jared to use the $20,000 out of the donated fund with the purchase order guideline.
Second.
All in favor? Do we want to reach out? Do you guys want me to reach out to Jared tomorrow
Sure.
to let him know?
Mhm.
Needs to notify the budget committee too. Because
Yes.
is that the only article that was?
That's the only thing that, yes, that's the whole purpose you guys were meeting, was specifically for that. Courtney, can you send out an email to the budget committee to cancel that meeting? Steve, are you still on the budget committee? No. No, there's 3.
Join the party.
So apparently we are still looking for 2 budget committee members to join. Add that to our announcements.
I believe I gave Julie, I tried to get these things for her, all the warrant articles that were tended to in 2024, and there's 2025, but she'll want to review again, make sure she has all those.
Yes, thank you. Yes.
Last but least, Steve McLean. I'd like to request a list of the qualifications for all the fire officers on the fire department. All right, there should be, this Board of Selectmen should have a list of qualifications for each level of the department.
Have you put in a FOA request on that?
No, I'm asking you guys live on TV, was what I was instructed to do tonight. So, moving on from that.
Can I ask, due to the
No, I'm not-
amount of information it is, can you send me an email?
I'll send Courtney an email.
Okay, send Courtney an email and we will.
All right, there's a couple of other things here. We've got an officer at the fire department that routinely goes home during their shift. Takes either an ambulance or the brush truck to go home. So my question is, do we have a policy on this? I mean, because basically, you know, we used to have a secretary here that was told if she went home, she had to punch out while she was on duty, all right? Because, you know, are we running a country club or what are we doing? Okay, the other thing I'll touch on is when Pete Proctor did the scheduling for probably the last 15 years, he did it while he was working a shift. And now it seems like scheduling is done by somebody totally different at an extra cost, okay? Little summary, the thing that's really got me is in the last, looks like 5 weeks, we've racked up 163 hours of overtime. Now, I don't know what's going on. You know, we got 30 or so members, but why 2 or 3 members getting, I'll read it, 61 hours, 48. One week, somebody had 68 hours. Then we have 50, 48, 49, 48, 48, 60. I mean, what's going on? So at what point, Wendy knows this more than I do, at what point are they considered full-time employees? How many continuous weeks, or is it quarters or something? If you're doing 48, 50, 60 hours, are you considered, we went through this before. Yeah, we got to be careful.
They will become full-time employees with benefits that happen in York County.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Yes, absolutely.
The budget committee talked about this one time, being cautious, and I know Pete used to try to keep everybody 30, 36 hours. There's a threshold, so I don't know if it's 30 hours, 40, or something we ought to look into before we get in trouble, because that's going to tip the scale. I mean, there's no reason to have just certain people up there getting this many hours. All right. The other thing is, I'll leave you a couple of these pictures as I walk out the door, but the Watson Hill fire in the last 6 weeks that I've been suspended has really come up. I got blamed for everything that could happen there. Then I got a letter yesterday exonerating me of anything that happened there because they found out the truth. But once again, somebody gets persecuted, somebody gets suspended, okay, on false allegations, all right? So at some time, this board better look into it before. I believe you guys are well over $5,000 for a lawyer now, probably approaching $10,000 on a witch hunt, and it's gonna get a lot worse, okay? So that's ridiculous. The other thing is, as every area chief has said, didn't you guys have a debriefing? I don't think we've done a debriefing here in 5 years. Usually after a major event, they have a debriefing. Well, nobody wanted to hear about a debriefing for the 3 fires we've had in the last 3 years, okay? So that's something that should be in there, okay? And I'll leave you these pictures because they say a lot, okay? They talk about equipment and have you have this here, and certainly if this made it to the Board of Labor, the town of Limerick would be paying a hefty fine, okay? And you'll see somebody with a white coat and a white hat on, that usually means that's an officer. So you question yourself, and if you guys want to put this out in public, go ahead. I'll leave you with that thought.
Thank you.
It's just absolutely ridiculous.
All right. Anyone else?
I have something else. Yeah, when she's talking about the donations, so MARSA 305652 states that municipal offices have the authority to accept donations of money to supplement appropriations, reduce tax assessments, and reduce permanent debt or endow educational foundations. So I do recall at one time that if there was something that somebody wanted to make a donation for, that it had to be something that was currently being purchased. I believe you're fine on doing it, but just want to let you know that you're the one who accepts donations, not individual departments.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right, old business. Review of legal accounts. We don't have any new bills this week. Deepville update? Is there anything new?
Tomorrow in the morning, there'll be a construction meeting, and all the parties involved will be here. And Wade is going to stand in for Howard as far as signing requisitions. They've run into a little bit of rock. They're sort of drilling down there, trying to get up Watson Hill. But that was planned for, and it's in the budget. So they're working as well as they can right now. So they're doing a good job. Thank you, Wade.
Oh, no problem.
YCS WCD grant?
So we are at a good spot. She's taking a last look at the application, and then it should be in by the deadline Friday. And then it's just a waiting game to see what happens. So.
Okay. Thank you. Tax acquired properties. We still need to find a realtor. One more, if we're gonna reach out to the other two. Has anybody made any progress on that? Do you guys know of anybody that you want to call?
Well, we can. Other than the realtor, did we figure out who's going to do all the work? Because I think at one point it was brought up that that Stan wasn't going to be handling that anymore. If Stan's not going to handle it, who's going to handle it? Because it's, and you know, there was something when the audit was done that they didn't like the way the information was put in order, but it was all there to begin with. And I think that if we're going to do that, and I think Stan did an excellent job, and I think Stan should be allowed to continue like he was doing before, because we can say that, you know, we're going to take it, well, I didn't say that, but, you know, that he wasn't going to be doing that anymore. But if we don't have anybody to do it, who's going to do it?
Right, so do we want to check
So,
with Stan to see if he wants to continue doing
I'm going to make a motion that we, if Stan's willing to do it, that we go back and have him do the tax acquired properties, what he was doing before. If he, you know, if he's willing. But it doesn't hurt to ask, because we've got no one to do it.
And to add to that, we did approve, and Stan did take the additional training. There were some other classes that we approved the PO for Stan to acquire the training to be up to date with handling tax acquired property. So I just wanted to make everybody aware that he has the quals and the documentation behind it stating he has the quals to do an adequate job.
I'll second the motion. All in favor? I will reach out to Stan and see if he's willing to do that. MRI workshop scheduling, still waiting to hear from Christian and Carrie, because they wanted to put together a contract and before they scheduled that, so, and they have not gotten that together. Warrant article for fire department, we already kind of, we did deal with that. We scheduled the CDC meeting already. Bangor Savings payroll workshop.
Yep.
They were unable to meet tonight.
The gentleman from Bangor Payroll had a death in the family. The family lives in Bangor, and he works out of Augusta, and asked to reschedule to June 16th at 4 o'clock. I asked, would it be possible to meet at 5 to coincide with our select board meeting, and he felt it would be a real tough thing because there's other staff that he will bring with him to that meeting for Bangor Payroll, so that we will have the best enlightenment to what they have to offer.
And they're coming from Augusta,
Yes.
so it's not a quick drive, so. What was that?
Yeah.
So the meeting will still be at 4 o'clock on the 16th of June now. And we had the deadline for paving bids to come in today at 3 o'clock. We received one from Dayton Sand and Gravel. Either one of you want to open it?
We got Johnson Road, $65,090, and the shoulder at $6,800. And Foss Road, $66,700. Range E Road, $64,975. And Emery Corner, $122,245, and $10,800 for the shoulder, and Watson Hill Road, $178,480, and $18,000 for the shoulder.
Will that be posted on the web? We've never done that.
No.
Could you repeat those again? Wait, from Range E, the first two is signage.
Range E Road is $64,975. Emery Corner Road, $122,245, $10,800 for the shoulder, and Watson Hill Road, $178,480, and $18,000.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
May I ask, what is the distance on Emery Corner Road from what point to what point?
On Emery Corner?
Ricky Richardson, that would be from the pump station where they left off a few years back to the intersection of Coffin Hill, Emery Corner Road, and Sawyer's Mountain. By,
So you're going up the hill?
yes,
No.
yeah, from the water pump station.
Thank you, Ricky. Well, what would you guys like to do on this? It is the only quote, but it's also over budget.
Yeah. Well, we don't have to decide tonight, but we can have Ricky look at it and compare it to,
Can you make a copy of this for Ricky?
And no other bid came in?
No other
On the
bids
deadline.
no other bids came in on that. So we'll get you a copy of that. All right.
no.
No, it was just broken down by the roads.
But they didn't do all the shouldering on all of the roads.
There was shouldering.
Ross Range E and Watson Hill. Oh, no, Boston Range E
Right, did not.
did not have any shouldering. Okay.
Correct. The other three did.
Okay.
All right. New business. Yeah, executive session for personnel matters. We need to schedule a minimum of one, perhaps two. Second one should only be half hour. But they have been requested. So we need to get those scheduled as soon as possible.
Next Tuesday? Oh, no.
Next Tuesday's the election.
Election. Next Wednesday?
Do we want to
the
do
10th?
Wednesday?
Yep.
Yep, the 10th at 6 o'clock.
Mhm.
Do, the second one is tentative. But I don't think that one will be much longer than 30 minutes. Do we want to do that on the 16th at 6:30?
That's fine with me. You know, it doesn't matter either way.
I mean, we'll have Bangor Savings at 4. But that will, if that goes until 5, that will at least give us a chance to go home, get something to eat, come back.
So the 16th, when,
16th at 6:30? All right. Voter-approved donations. We had that on the agenda tonight. The voters, when all of the budgets came out, we did the voting in, was it March? No, it wasn't March. Yes, it was March. The March vote. Part of that was for various donations to things like Lake Arrowhead, Caring Unlimited, things like that. We had it on here to go ahead and approve sending out those payments, but they are actually on the warrants this week to be paid out. They're being paid per voter request this week. Appointments and resignations. We don't have any. Discussion of agenda items. Cheryl?
Okay. Of all the things that's been going on in town with the lawyers, we haven't got a bill from them yet, any of them?
Yes,
Oh,
we have.
because previous boards, when we come up with the lawyers' bills, we didn't have individuals, but we would have amounts that would be,
We went
Oh.
over that the week that we got the bill. It was 500.
and you've only received one bill?
Correct. Correct.
What is the total going to be when we finally get the other ones? Just a
don't know.
hypothetical question. Okay.
I want to say that one was like 504 or some.
Yeah, okay. Jumping back to what Steve was talking about with the fire chief, I didn't realize that when I had asked Jared months ago when he answered me about how many people we had, and he was telling me how many, 12 of this and this and this, we don't have enough people there so people don't get overtime. I mean, that runs into a lot of money. That's a question I need to ask him when he's in again. Okay, I'll find out when he's on.
That would be a really good question.
Because, you know, whatever, you know what I'm saying about budget and stuff like that. Okay. Sweeping. It was suggested before the season was over that possibly having one of the big sweepers come in and sweep the whole town. And there was a price 2 years ago, 2 years in a row when Scott was road commissioner, he had someone, it was a local guy, and you can look it up all in the paper. It was $6,500 to do the whole town. So you figure, maybe 75 with prices and stuff like that. The bills up to date right now are 16,000 plus, and some of the roads aren't completed. And, you know, I mean, we try to do a budget. I know it's the road commissioner's prerogative to spend his money the way he wants, but I just hope that, you know, in the long run, you know, things don't run short and has to come back for extra money. And, you know, hard times for everybody, not just the road commissioner. It's the fire department, it's the board, the dump, the recycling, everything. We need to start cutting back, and hey, wouldn't it be nice to have a little extra money at the end of the year?
Thank you, Sharon.
I got together with Scott when I took over this job, was elected this job, and the sweeper he had lined up wasn't going to be available until the middle of May. The price for the cleanup this year is a lot, I'll admit it, but there was also a comment made last winter that I am going to bury this town with so much sand, so we have the burden to clean it up. We not only cleaned up the roads, we cleaned up in front of the bandstand, we cleaned up the lawns, we cleaned up all the town's properties so far, and we still haven't cleaned everything up yet. We're waiting for some more rain so we can keep the dust down, because if we add water, it's just another added expense. So we're trying to do it in a timely fashion. Yeah, it's costing a few extra bucks, I admit it. But the sweeper is not gonna do what's piled up on the town's properties. Whether it's the fire station, we did the fire department, we still gotta do the transfer station, we gotta clean that up. There's a lot that needs to be done, and there's a lot of sand out there. So, for what it is, the townspeople want the sand cleaned up from the bandstand, the lawns, the shoulders of the roads. We're not gonna do a minimal job, we're gonna do an all-out job and clean it up. So with that being said, it's going to be a little extra money.
All right.
But what you have cleaned up is outstanding, I gotta give you that.
Well, we're doing the best we can.
Just out of curiosity, did it go out for bid at all?
No.
Okay, I was just curious.
Any other questions? Thank you.
He said that there was someone that had, which no names, who cares? They were going to bury the town and, we'd have to sweep it. The ones that he said that was on the lawns and the bandstand and stuff like that, that was under his contract, that he had not the town one. The town one was just the roads themselves, so.
So do we not want to clean up the town's properties appropriately? Do we want to leave sand on the bandstand lawn so everybody can see how much of a mess it's going to be? I don't think so.
No, it was just the statement that you made that was said, we're going to bury this town. Well, did you say that you were going to bury this town so you could, that was an insinuation that the big plows were doing it?
I didn't sand the roads this winter, I only sand the municipal properties.
And bandstand and the fire department, those are
town roads.
municipal.
Those are town roads. We don't plow the bandstand.
Okay. You do the fire department?
Yeah.
It was a heavy sand this year.
Yeah.
It was a heavy sanding this
It's a
year
heavy
with all
sand.
the ice, but it would be nice if we could keep costs low. I know it's not always possible, but thank you. Yes.
I can honestly say, on Carroll Lane, Francis Lane, Henry Lane, when Ricky and his crew were down there, they went well above what they had to do. They cleaned the shoulders of the road. We're talking logs, tree branches, rocks. They had dump trucks full of stuff they were taking out of there. They did a fantastic job. I don't care what the price is. They cleaned the streets the way it should be cleaned. And you asked about if it should go out to bid. Why was this bid that came in tonight, why was that a sealed bid?
That was the paving bid. It went out for bid. It was posted, and due to the amount.
Okay, what about the tree work? How come those weren't sealed bids?
Those bids were not all expected to be over 15,000.
What's the bid policy?
I don't have it on me, but I believe it's is it 15 that it has to go, be sealed bids?
2,500.
Well, 2,500 go out to, not sealed.
No.
Right.
A bid is a bid.
Right.
Whether it's advertised or sealed.
Right, we're talking sealed though. I think that was the higher amount.
So any bid over 2,500 is supposed to be sealed?
Are you checking, Craig?
Any of the bids for the trees should have been sealed bids.
Why weren't they sealed?
The one that handled it didn't ask to have them sealed.
Who picked the tree, who picked the 3 tree companies? Did you have any input on it? Anyone here have any input on which companies they could pick? So one person picked the 3 companies and sent them out on his own?
Made the phone calls.
You had no
to
input,
ask-
no one else
and
had any input?
None of us, at least I can say that I didn't go out with any tree companies to point out the trees that needed to be done. I didn't go out for a drive with Ricky to find the trees that needed to be taken care of. I didn't do any of that. So I did not have any conversations with tree companies because I did not have time to go out and show them exactly what trees needed to go and where they were looking at.
So no one had an issue with him picking 3 tree companies and putting out the bid himself, writing it up himself, and then bringing the bids in unsealed? Who's to say when those bids come in, are they looked at when they come in?
They were, I can't say how they came in because he had everything set on a spreadsheet of this is what the estimates were, or the bids from these specific people. I don't know if they were emailed to him. I don't know if they called and said, okay, look, we can do this. Here's what the price for the cemeteries will be. Here's what the price for the roads will be.
You see where I'm going with this, though?
Yes, I do.
Who's to say he picked a company, the other bids come in, you can call those companies and say, listen, come in with a lower bid than this, because this is what I have right here. You understand what I'm saying? No one else had any input. He controlled the entire process himself. And you have a bid policy,
We do have a bid policy, yes.
and no one had an issue with that. No one spoke up, no one said a word.
Not at this point, because a lot of this was coming up during the time when we did not have an administrative assistant. There were new people on the board. We are trying to get caught up. We are trying to do things the way we are supposed to do. And Howard was trying to pick up the slack where he could. He was trying to pick up the extra work where he could. Should it have been by bid? Yes. Should it have been by sealed bid? Yes.
Well, you have a bid policy going forward from now on, I would imagine. Hopefully you'll follow it, so there's no issues. Thank you.
Yeah.
I did bring up the other day that it should have been all put out to bid, and I did speak to one of the individuals that bid on the job, and he was under the assumption that there was 3 different projects that needed to be done, and if he came in as the low bidder on one of those projects, that he would have received that.
Gotcha.
And if we're going to bid on it, then if you're going to tell somebody that, then that should have been brought up, and that's the way it should have been.
Right.
Because I don't care if there's 3 different people doing 3 different jobs.
Right.
They're all different jobs.
But I'm not really comfortable saying what should have happened, did happen,
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
happen, because Howard's not here.
Yep, absolutely. You're absolutely right.
To,
It's been awarded
yes,
to one company?
yes. They were lower across the board. Yes, Cheryl.
Well, if we want to dig up the bidding process and how it's done, the previous board several times would put pickleball court for one thing that was never put out to bid. It was never even talked about until that meeting. And it's been done right or wrong, sit down, you guys get together, figure out what the bidding process should be, stick to it every time. This half doing it this way, previous boards did it many times. You guys have done it once with a tree, learn a lesson, and sit down and make it out and make sure that everybody does. But as you said, it was in the interim, no administrative help, and everybody was trying to scramble to get things done because people were saying, okay, let's kick the can down the road again like we always do, just trying to catch up. I'm just saying, it's not just this present board that should be reprimanded. Thank you, Sharon. Yes, Joanne?
I've been sitting there trying to remember the law, but I wish you would look it up. As far as the fire department's concerned, I believe they're allowed to work so many hours a month or so many hours a week, but it's far above the 40 hours that they're allowed to work. And I think they probably schedule them based on that law, but I can't remember what the figure was, whether it was.
I think
I think
Steve's
it's
issue
50
is more
I
that
think
there are
it-
people working 0 hours.
I think it's 58 hours that they're allowed to work, something
Right.
like that. So look up that law, because that's what we go by, and that's what we voted to go by.
Yeah, but they should be equal across the board. They should give other people opportunity too.
All right, anyone else?
The information that was asked for by Mr. McLean,
Yes.
he should go through FOA like everybody else has to.
Right, but he's not required to.
He's not required to? He's not a department head.
Doesn't matter. He's not required to put in a formal written request through the FOA department. He can ask any one of us.
So then
For
why
any
does everybody else have to? Why
We
does
asked for it for tracking purposes. I am going to, because this is at a meeting, we're going to have the tracking purposes because we have the meeting minutes, once Courtney does those. And I will follow up with Dottie tomorrow to get that on the FOA log, to get that going.
So anybody that wants any information, they come to the podium, they ask us, and we're going to get it for them without going through the FOIA process and having to wait and the
They'll
days.
still have to go through the process, but it will have to come off of the minutes. And if it were to become extensive, I would probably end up asking Courtney to make a separate section for FOA requests in the minutes so that she can pass that on. Yes, Courtney?
As somebody who has been a Freedom of Access officer before, you have to have it written.
Not anymore.
Unless it's changed, because I haven't been a FOA officer in 5 years, so as far as I know, you have to have it written.
It's preferred to have it in writing. You're taking the webinar Thursday for us? Yeah. That was not something I cared for because I would prefer to have it in writing. I think it's better and much more accountable, and you're going to get better results with a FOA request having it in writing. As it is, it's sometimes difficult to get the information, even when it's in writing. But, yes, so I will send an email to Dottie tomorrow about that request and let her know that it was Steve and Gail.
Thing that we're talking about FOIA, is there any priority list made up for 2025 requests that haven't been fulfilled yet?
Most of them have been fulfilled.
Okay.
She is picking off the easiest ones
Sure.
first.
Okay.
So, and the more extensive ones are,
But 2025 is being prioritized over 2026?
yes.
I hope.
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
you're welcome. Anyone else? All right, correspondence, Solar Simplified. Is it just an ad, sales?
No, I met with them. I did like a phone conversation with them, and I think it is something that could be beneficial because, let me pull the flyer out, remind myself. So it basically boils down to people who don't want to put solar panels on their houses can get credits from local solar farms. When I met with the two people who head this, they said that they are willing to come in and do like an informational meeting if we would want to. I myself think it would be beneficial. It's just an informational meeting, and they take care of everything. There's no cost to it. There's no cost to the town, and it is individual based. So if somebody wants to sign up for it, I think it would be beneficial for the town to have the informational meeting, just in case for those people who would like to look at getting credits on their CMP bills, that kind of thing. So that's what I took away from my meeting with them.
Is it the Chicago company?
I don't think so. I think they work primarily here in Maine.
Do we want to table this one, or do we want to schedule?
Because I've had several come knocking on my door and I turn them away. Said I don't want anything you have to offer. Because I don't do that, I don't trust them. And if you want, you can go out to see them.
So as a resident, would you like to see a town meeting done with them here as a one whole?
Myself personally, citizens can go to the CMP bill.
Right.
And find out this information that's out there.
I mean, I don't think of it something that the town as a, I'm not talking residential, I'm talking municipal, and if this isn't gonna save us a huge amount of money, yeah, then let's go ahead and take it off the,
Okay, it's individual based, so if anybody wants more information, you can come ask me.
yeah. And we did receive correspondence regarding personnel matters, which will be handled. Personnel matters are considered privileged information, so we can't go into it in public. So those will be handled and taken care of. And that is all I have. I would look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?